Okay, meeting Wednesday, November 18th, 2020, 5:05. Pursuant to the Massachusetts Open Meeting Law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Fred TV is present. They're doing the Zoom recording. And we're aware of that in this meeting. I don't believe anyone else is present, but we'll take a roll call. Why don't we start with me, Joe Marshall here, and then go around the block, starting with you, Sarah.
Sarah Page here, Executive Director.
Johnny Erickson here, present.
Joan Maderas here.
Ann Keen here.
Louis Gonzalez here.
John, are you there?
Yeah, I was on mute. John Coughlin here.
Okay, good. All right, all present and accounted for. We'll start the meeting agenda. Call to order this meeting, November 18th, 2020 at 5:05. The statement has been read. The roll call has taken place. And the first item on the agenda is the approval of open session meeting from October 21st, 2020. Has anyone seen it? Everyone's got a copy of that. Are there any additions, deletions, or a motion to accept those minutes as presented?
I move we accept the meeting minutes as presented.
I second.
State your name, please, when.
John
whenever.
Erickson.
Okay.
Yep.
And Joan?
Joan Maderas, I second that motion.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Joe, you need a roll call vote.
And now we need a roll call vote on the acceptance of that motion. Starting with me, Joe Marshall, yes? Go around the block.
I don't know who's in what order. It's kind of,
Right.
In my order.
We'll just stay in the
Hands
same order.
Hands to my right.
John, you're up.
Johnny Erickson here, present.
Yes.
Affirmative.
Okay.
Maderas, yes.
Ann Keen, yes.
Louis Gonzalez, yes.
Okay. So moved. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the warrant and financial report that was given to all of us. If you have that in front of you or have had an opportunity to review it, is there any discussion or a motion to accept it?
I move we accept the warrant. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 items on it.
Yep. Okay. John, you want to state your name in
Johnny
the
Erickson.
motion?
I move we accept the content of the warrant.
Is there a second?
Joan Maderas, I second the motion to accept the warrant.
Okay. All in favor? Joe Marshall, yes?
Johnny
Yeah.
Erickson, yes.
Joan Maderas, yes.
Ann Keen, yes.
Louis Gonzalez, yes.
Okay, so moved, unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the executive director's report. And that would be Sarah.
Great. Well, as you can tell from the agenda, it's been a really busy time. We have lots of projects on our plates and seem to keep adding more. And I've been able to get out and meet with some folks who have wanted to connect with us. One was Mike Labossiere, who's in the Department of Community Utilities. And it was really great to meet with him because he knows a lot about the history of the technology park and the 50-acre buffer for conservation there. And so that was really wonderful. He really reached out to me.
Sarah, where's he from? Excuse me.
Well, he's part of the Watuppa Water reserve, and he's a project manager with the Fall River Department of Community Utilities.
Oh, okay, good.
And so he had heard me on the radio and reached out and wanted to meet, and it was really interesting to meet with him. And let's see, I'll tell you a little bit about my meeting with Jim McKeague in a minute, but I have met with a developer that's working on property along the waterfront, and that was really interesting and helpful. And definitely there's been follow-up on the item that we discussed at the last meeting with Bill Kenny, encouraging us to put out request for qualifications to, sorry, do a feasibility study for decking over I-95, I-195 in front of the City Hall. And so Bill and John Coughlin have been back and forth about getting that RFQ together. So we wanted you to know that that's still moving along. And the other, I guess the other big piece that I want to update you on, besides all of the agenda items that we've been working on, those will come up as we go through the agenda. But I wanted to tell you about my meeting with Jim McKeague, who's the fellow for the TDI partnership, and TDI is Transformative Development Initiative, and it's a program that Mass Development has that puts fellows in cities around the state. Now, I had worked with the fellow in Springfield for a few years, and Jim was first in New Bedford, and he's been here and is here at least another year. And he had worked with all of you on a grant program that related to emergency COVID relief for small businesses. And the RDA had made money available for grants. And he's asking that we consider joining in on another grant program. He's trying to raise $75,000 that would be given out in small grants up to $5,000 each to small businesses in the TDI zone, which, let me just explain that. It's a really small zone in downtown, but you know, that's really part of our downtown urban renewal plan. And it, South Main goes through the middle of it and is a critical piece. And then Pocasset is on one side, Milliken Boulevard on another, Union, Morgan, and Second. So it's kind of a rectangle. And the businesses in that zone would be the main target of this grant program, but grants would be available to similar small businesses in some of the streets around that zone. And I think it would be a good idea. There's a lot of material about the grant program. I think that we could wait to make a decision until our December meeting. And I'm wondering if someone would want to just think through this program and if we want to do this. One of the things that's really interesting about it is that it's designed to connect businesses to each other. So there are lots of incentives built into the program that would get businesses to encourage others to join and to network with each other and support each other. He said that the businesses that are doing that the most are the restaurants in downtown, and he's trying to expand that. So would anyone like to work with me on thinking through how we might participate in that grant program?
Sure, I'd be happy to work on that.
Great. I kind of thought you would.
But you didn't want to ask. A quick question, and we haven't seen anything on it, but how much participation was was Jim asking for? And what say would we have in the program? You know that
Well,
yet?
Yeah, the program is really carefully designed. I didn't get the materials for it until today, or would have sent them out to you. But so I don't know that we would have too much say because it's already really well developed. So he's trying to raise about $75,000,
Right.
and he has 25,000 from Mass Development. Bay Coast Bank has committed 10,000. He's talking with many banks. Joan, he's talking with your bank.
Yep.
And he expects the banks to come in, and, you know, he's thinking if we could commit 10,000 or so, that would be great. I think we have to think about that.
Yep.
And the money, the businesses, the way that the businesses would use the funds are somewhat COVID relief. It's really about how do the businesses stay alive? What can they do to promote their products, get more involved on e-commerce? And so there are a number of ways that they can use the funds, but it's really directed at building their customer base during these crazy times and helping them really build the strength of their business through technology and some other efforts.
Mhm.
He also has asked me to join his TDI partnership meetings, which are one Friday a month. So I'll be attending this Friday. And that's the group of businesses that are working together in the downtown and working with him through his TDI partnership. So I've been interested in that and glad that I can join in and see how we can be of assistance and collaborate. The other thing that that group is looking at is how to create more of a supported business district that brings activities, that deals with really beautifying the business district. And so they've been looking at creating a business improvement district or a bid, but they probably won't go in that direction. Those are complicated. You need lots of the landlords to agree to participate and contribute funds. So what they're thinking is that they may try to create a district management program and get grants to hire a manager who would do these kinds of activities to really promote the downtown.
Good.
So I will learn a lot more about that and keep you informed on it, but it sounds important for the city. So that's my report, and I look forward to all the other discussion.
You've seen the agenda. Does anyone have any questions of Sarah?
Joe, I just wanted to mention along the lines of the idea of the 195 air rights there. Sarah, I meant to copy you. I thought I did, but I sent Bill Kenny an email because coincidentally, a friend of mine at Suffolk is the project manager on Parcel 12, which is a bigger version of what we're trying to do. And he was more than happy to help us with, giving us any budget numbers that they had for what they did, drawings. He offered to give us a tour of the site, whatever. So that at the right time, I mentioned that to Bill, and he said, "Great, the right time. That might be very helpful for us." So it's a very similar type of project.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for taking the initiative. If there's no other questions of Sarah at this time, can I have a motion to accept the executive director's report?
I move we accept Sarah's executive report.
John, your name?
John Erickson. Sorry.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second, and Joan Maderis, second to accept the executive director's report.
All in favor, aye. Joe Marshall,
Johnny Erickson, aye.
Joan Maderis, aye.
Ann Keen, aye.
Louis Gonzalez, aye.
okay. So moved. The next item is the update on the city pier. Sarah, do you want to bring us up to date, or, and Johnny can interject because he's probably been following this along closer than the rest of us. Do you have anything to add, Sarah, on the city pier?
Well, I think Johnny is going to be taking the lead, but I'll just say a few things. I think that the project went to the EPA for approval, which
Sure.
was really important. And now we're working on the bid documents and drawings to go out to bid for the railing system. And I've been talking, Johnny's really been working with Beta on that. So
Mhm.
I'm going to pass it to Johnny.
Right. John?
Yeah, so where we're at now is he sent this Eric sent this package through. I think it was Friday, but anyway, basically the bid package with the specifications. It's
Yeah, last week. Yeah, I got that.
yeah, and I went through it and had a few questions for Eric. I had a discussion with him today, some clarifications on some of the issues and details and whatnot. We got that straightened out, and we're anxious to try to get this together so that I think you probably saw his timetable. We were hoping to get bids back before Christmas. So that's the plan at this point.
Well, let me ask you, Johnny, that you're talking about the bids. You're talking about the design, right? You're not talking about installation, right?
No, this is the bid package, that would go out to the various trades that would be bidding it,
Oh,
which in this case is really only two for the
Sure.
railings.
Right.
But yeah, it's very, he doesn't need to do much to brush it up. It's pretty much ready for the press.
Good.
He's been talking with Mike Dion, has been helping us quite a bit with this.
Yeah.
And, what we were going to try to do, Sarah, was hook up with Mike maybe early in the week. If I didn't mention it to Mike yet, but you see him every day. But that just a little follow up that Eric wanted to do, and then it looks like we're ready to let it fly.
Well, they're dropping off a couple of copies of the plans that we can look at because they're really hard to see if you don't have them printed in the really large format. So they're bringing those by, and he and I talked about possibly setting up a meeting on Monday. So I'll work on that tomorrow to try to get a few of us together to look at it.
Great.
It sounds like, there are just a few issues to be worked out.
Yeah. From what I recall, and you're right, we're under the deadline, which was excellent to get the amendment to the EPA that we needed to get out to them. So I know we did that in a timely manner, and we're just waiting to hear back on the approval.
Yeah, but just a reminder, Joe, so the railings aren't bound by that approval from DEP and EPA.
Right.
We're good to go with those.
Yeah, because we're not going to be in that area.
In that area?
Well, where the railing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Good. All right.
The other piece that came up that we need to look into is I was concerned about the aggressive bidding schedule and working through our really overtaxed purchasing department at the city and whether they could really fit that into their schedule, and Beta would be able to put it out to bid themselves. And I think we need to look at that. And I have some questions for John Coughlin about contract documents legally and if there are complexities with the city that need to be worked out. But they do put projects out to bid, have them picked up at their office or send them out electronically. And they could really handle that process.
Okay. All right. All right. Are there any other discussion on the city pier project at this time? I mean, we seem to be on course, which is a good thing. No other questions? Okay. The next item is the RDA's potential, let me make sure I got it here. The potential acquisition of the Armory building, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that on there? Okay.
Yep.
Sarah, do you have any insight on that? I mean, right now, there's discussion, but there hasn't been any formal determination as to whether or not the RDA will be involved in that, or whether or not the city of Fall River will be involved in that. That hasn't been finalized yet. John, you've had a couple of meetings.
Yeah, so just very briefly, I think we wanted to put it on the agenda just so the board was aware of it, because the idea is out there. There's a proposal
Correct.
that may involve the Redevelopment Authority acquiring that property from the city in order to make it part of our downtown urban renewal plan, in order to redevelop it with a potential developer that's interested in the site. But that won't happen unless the city determines that they want to transfer the property to the Redevelopment Authority, and that would require a city council vote with approval of the mayor. So I think that's pending down at the city council, maybe in the real estate committee. I'm not sure the exact where it is in the process, but so the board may be hearing about that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware that that proposal is out there. It would have to come back before the Redevelopment Authority for a vote to accept the property, but we need the city to make a decision which way it wants to go first before we can act. So.
Right, and that's my understanding also. There's no determination at this time what's going to happen, but we want to know if it does end up being our responsibility, that we all should know about that and see how we're going to proceed further.
Yeah, Joe, I just wanted to mention that a couple of weeks ago, the mayor mentioned the Pawtucket, Rhode Island Armory, and he asked me to check it out. And I went there last week, and because I believe it's the same folks that might be interested in it. And I was really impressed. Have any of you seen that, what they did with that building?
I've seen pictures.
Oh,
You can Google it online, and there's a gallery of pictures. It's pretty good.
It's really, and the day that I went there was a lot of different things going on, and it was just, they did a beautiful job on it. I was really impressed.
Well, we hope, whether it's us or the city of Fall River, we hope we can get that done.
Hmm.
Okay, that being said, the next item actually on the agenda is to go into executive session. So that we need a motion to adjourn with the understanding that we will not be coming back once we go into executive session. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So Joe, we would need a motion to go into executive session.
Yep.
For the three items listed on the agenda: the approval of minutes and the two real estate transactions, 45 Anniswan Street and Innovation Way. We would need a finding from the chair that declares that an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. So we need that finding first, and then a vote to go into executive session for those three purposes, not to return to open session.
Okay, so there's two motions. One is to, as you said, John, to adjourn and go into executive session, as if we remained in an open meeting, it would be detrimental to the parties involved in the executive session. Is that correct, John?
So it would be detrimental to the Redevelopment Authority's negotiating position.
Yeah, what John said. Okay. All right, is there a
Joe,
motion?
as the chair, you made that finding. Now we need a motion to go into executive session for those three purposes, not to return to open session.
Okay, is there a motion to do that?
I move we go into executive session to deal with those three items in number 7.
Is there a second to that motion?
A second to enter into executive session, to deal with the 3 items as listed on our agenda,
All right, there's a vote.
And not to return to open session.
and
And-
not to return to open session. Sorry, John.
That's all right. If we could have a vote to go into executive session, those that are in favor, Joe Marshall, yes.
Benny Erickson, yes.
Joan Maderis, yes.
Ann Keen, yes.
Louis Gonzalez, yes.
Okay, so moved. We now are going into executive session.